House Speaker Mike Johnson is with us. Speaker Johnson, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. I know you were just in meetings with the Republican caucus. Acknowledged that this was about nominees, not about policy. But if the White House, President Trump, largely expects a rubber stamp from Congress on his agenda, and he's said that before, what is Congress's role right now? What's your role?
Well, the role is to deliver on that agenda. We all ran on that as well, and President Trump delivered a mandate. That the people gave him a mandate. He delivered a resounding victory. He won the Electoral College, as we know, soundly, as well as a popular vote. 77 million people voted for him, and 74.8 million voted for House Republicans, the largest vote total we've ever had. So we see that as a mandate to do this job, to get the job done, to deliver on the president's priorities and his principles and the things he promised on the campaign trail. It's the same exact thing we ran on, and now we get a chance to enact it.
I think it's fair to say that not all of your cats that you are herding agree exactly maybe what exactly the mandate is. This is Eric Burlinson, Republican of Missouri, talking about your leadership as it relates to this bill and the tax cuts and the spending cuts.
At the moment, has Mike Johnson let you down?
I think Mike, probably given his own aspirations, has let himself down. I think Mike Johnson says he's a fiscal conservative. This is nowhere near good enough, and I hope that he agrees with me that we could do much better.
My question is this: if everybody ran on the same agenda, you pointed out how many millions of people voted for it, and everybody ran on the Trump agenda, why is there so much disagreement over what it means?
Well, I don't think there's a disagreement over what the agenda means. I think there's concern about how to get it all paid for. Because while at the same time we want to extend the tax cuts, and we will, we're going to extend the Trump-era tax cuts, because otherwise, Leland, we'll have the largest tax increase in U.S. history hit here at the end of the year all at once. So we got to achieve that mission. But we also have to pay for it, because at the same time we have a $36 trillion federal debt, we have a growing deficit, and a lot of us, like Eric, like me, we're fiscal conservatives. We want to make sure that we're not adding to that deficit problem while we do this pro-growth economy and usher it back in. So the analysis and the math and the deliberation over how to deliver that is what will take us a few weeks here to work out. But we started the process. Tomorrow, the Budget Committee will mark up the resolution that will kickstart the reconciliation process, and it will go on in earnest for the next several weeks. You'll hear a lot of debate and discussion and deliberation about how to deliver that, but we'll get it done. We will find the equilibrium point that makes it all work, and Eric and my friends will all be pleased with the product in the end.
You think it's fair to say that there's not going to be a single Democrat that's going to vote for this, right? That you're going to have to get either all or all but one Republican on board?
Yeah, I'm sad to say I don't expect any Democrats to vote for it. They're in full panic mode right now, and they have thrown down the gauntlet. They're trying to fight President Trump on every single inch of ground and all of his agenda. And that's why the reconciliation process is allowed as a partisan exercise, where you don't necessarily need members of the other party if you can keep all of your own members together, and that's what the challenge is. But I think we'll get it done.
All right, so keeping all the members together is a little bit harder when you only have one or two or none to lose. A lot of this arm twisting comes down probably to President Trump himself. I know you've been there in the room when he puts his arm around somebody, says, all right, you got to come with us on this. What exactly is his go-to move? Bring us inside the room.
Well, I've been in those rooms a lot with him, and he has a way of negotiating where he gets the final outcome, as you've seen. He's the expert at the art of the deal. I think what he's advocating for here is what's good for the American people. The America First agenda is to bring about a pro-growth economy again. It is to secure the border. It is to make our American communities safe again. It's to restore peace through strength. It's to make sure that we don't have the largest tax increase in U.S. history, and we get the U.S. economy going again and restore our stature on the world stage. We can do all those things in one big, beautiful bill, as he likes to say. And that's what we're going to achieve.
Just give me an example here.
Takes a lot of work.
Give me an example here about how he's put. Okay, you know what I'm trying to do. You're not going to do it, are you?
I do. I get it. No, I'll tell you. Well, look, I mean, last Thursday, okay, we spent 4 hours at the White House. It wasn't a scheduled meeting. I just brought a select group of budget committee members over there, about 15 folks, who came to the cabinet room, and he came in and visited with us, and then he said, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make a deal. You guys are going to make a deal. He said, I'm going to step over here in the Oval Office, which is 5 yards away, and he said, Speaker, come knock on the door when they get this deal done. And he got up and walked out. That was a pretty good encouragement to my colleagues and friends there. Yeah. And 3.5 hours later, I went and knocked on the Oval Office door and said, Mr. President, we have the deal. So then he brought everybody in and gave them challenge coins and took photos, and we celebrated together. So that's the 8,000-pound gorilla down the hallway, and he has that way of getting it done.
Yeah, best home field advantage in the world, really. It was designed that way. Right. I just wanted to give you an opportunity. Last night, you were there when Mark Fogel came home. You were next to the president as you greeted him. Just your emotions.
An incredible event. I mean, history is being made every hour by the new Trump administration. He's the only one strong enough to be getting these things done. And to get a hostage return after captivity for 3.5 years in Russia under terrible conditions was just a very emotional thing for everybody involved. And you saw
What'd you say to
emotion.
Mark?
I mean, it was so raw and authentic. Welcome home, brother. I mean, so many people worked for so long to get him back, but President Trump was the one who had the force of personality, and through Steve Witkoff, who is our special envoy over there, to get the job done. And he's overjoyed, his family is. It was a long time coming. But you're going to see more of this under the Trump administration. We're restoring peace through strength, and we're going to have our enemies fearing us again and our allies respecting us, and that was a long time overdue.
One thing that we kept hearing about today, we started the show about this, I know you were busy so you didn't see it, is inflation and prices. And there is no question that inflation is continuing. Fair to blame Joe Biden's policies, because that was just 3 weeks ago. You've got DOGE coming in. People are celebrating all of the waste and abuse, fraud, whatever you want to call it, you're finding. A lot of executive orders, and now bills starting to move through Congress. When is it reasonable to tell the American people you're going to start feeling actually real price relief?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable in the coming weeks and months when our policies begin to really take effect in the economy. It's not instantaneous. It's not as though you can flip a switch. But we're moving all the dials as quickly as we can. And when you do cut taxes and you do cut regulations, which we're going to do in earnest, and when you find and eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse, that has a way of spurring on a pro-growth economy. And remember, Leland, this is not theory. We did this in the first Trump administration. Before COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had every demographic doing better. Wages were going up. The labor participation rate was at an all-time high. And inflation was low because the economy was working again. Restoring American energy dominance is a big piece of that. There are a lot of components, and we're the party that believes in those principles and will deliver it, and the American people will see the effect of that.
All right, so I asked you the practical question for everybody at home. Now I'm going to ask you the political question. When do you worry, if prices aren't down, that voters are going to start holding Republicans responsible? 6 months?
I don't worry about that because, look, we've already done it. We will do it again. We will double down on the policies that we delivered in the first Trump administration, 2017, 2018. And that effect is going to be certain. I mean, economics is like the law of gravity. It can't be defied. And when you reduce taxes on job creators and risk takers and entrepreneurs and people who provide the jobs and pay the wages, and when you reduce taxes on individuals and families, they begin to spend more money in the economy. I mean, these things are just as certain as the sun rising tomorrow, and we're going to usher in the conditions to make that possible again.
Well, we've said on the program before, the laws of economics cannot be repealed. I'll end with this. You made a point about the torrent of news during the first 3 weeks of the Trump administration. And there are so many stories that would lead our show any day that don't even make it into the show. What do you think and I mean collectively, include Fox News, everybody, what are we missing that's happening in Washington right now?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't get a chance to watch the news right now because I'm in the middle of it being made. But I'll tell you, there is a lot to cover. It's a dizzying pace, and every day, I mean, just the flurry of executive actions. You know, the president is making history, and it's all by design. He's doing exactly what he said on the campaign trail he will do, and just covering all of that is enough to keep the news busy. The Democrats as well. I mean, they're flailing here, Leland, as you know, because they have no vision, no leader in the party, no platform that they can defend, and so they've just turned to open warfare on the other party, the party in charge, and that's the Republican Party. So a lot going on, a lot of personalities and things making the news, and as the Speaker of the House, I've got to try to stay on top of all that every single day, so it's a lot to say grace over.
Keep watching NewsNation. We'll take care of it for you. Hey, look, you set up our next segment perfectly because we're talking about the Democrats next. Speaker Johnson, thank you very much. We appreciate it.